2 years ago. We had Annabelle here, and I think probably from the moment pretty much that she was born, I had this overwhelming sense of anxiety and fear, and that developed over a number of weeks into what was picked up by the child health nurse as postnatal depression and anxiety. And I kind of fought that diagnosis because I was worried about the attached stigma to it.
I've been involved pretty well since I was about 14 years of age. So was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was about 14, and yeah, it's just been ongoing since then. It's been, I hate to think, in hospital easily over 100 admissions. Yeah, probably 25 major surgeries in that time, so I've had a fair bit to do with them over the time. So, and still with what I have now, I'm on home TPN, see nurses once a week at least, so to have my port re-access, so fair bit of interaction there.
Other than having children, I've never really been a patient. I've always been an observer and as a support for Michael. So I've been doing that, I guess, for 30 years really.
I came in through the accident and emergency department, so on a Sunday night, feeling very unwell. Long story short, turns out I had a cecal volvulus. Your bowel kinks over in itself, it knots, makes a sort of a knot, kind of, yeah, so basically massive obstruction. I was first in surgery on Monday morning, emergency surgery, so it was all a bit full on and yeah, a bit scary. So
yeah, we weren't really sure what to do from, once you decide you're having a baby, what happens then. So we were talking to our friends, and some of them had gone through the midwifery group practice program, which is where you have a primary midwife and then you have a backup midwife as well. So if your primary can't make it, then you'll have the backup. So it's pretty cool because the whole time through you're with the same midwife for all of your pre-checks, and then hopefully they're on the day when you actually have your baby, and it was really good because you got to know everyone who you were working with. So yeah.
I went to go to work on the Monday and I went into Mum and she went, "Oh, I don't really feel very well." And I said, "Well, hop back into bed, I'll ring work." And so I rang work and went back in a couple of hours later, and she went to get up to go to the toilet and just collapsed. Couldn't weight bear. And it was like, oh, this is not good. So I rang an ambulance.
And they thought I might have had meningitis or something, so they took me straight to the hospital. And through a method of elimination, some marvellous doctors and nursing, they found out that I had this bug that had got into my body, and just left me not able to, I couldn't even get out of bed. I had to have nurses wheel me in and out of the toilet and shower me, and they were so wonderful.
I was diagnosed with a left trigeminal nerve sheath tumour last October, and waited till February to be operated on, and found that pretty much every single nurse I came into contact with in the system was dedicated, compassionate, wonderful.
I was actually injured quite badly while working overseas, and it's left me with some physical issues, but it's also left me with some mental health issues as well. So I've got a spinal injury, but I've also got complex PTSD, depression, anxiety, and a mild traumatic brain injury. And that's why I have Naomi with me. She's a PTSD assistance dog.
The nurses made it feel just so inviting for a health service, and they too were just unfailingly supportive and kind and understanding, non-judgmental.
I had complications that saw me go back into hospital 5 times, and each time was pretty difficult, and the nurses were just wonderful. From the moment I was in recovery to the moment I left, they were great. Yeah.
I don't know, you just felt safe. Like, you know, you were in a place where people were going to help you, and yeah, they comforted my husband a fair bit too, which was good because he was a mess.
I was actually in hospital last night with my spinal injury. Every so often it flares up, and Naomi comes with me in the ambulance and it lies on the bed with me, and you know, the nurses are always amazing and very, very accommodating when it comes to Naomi being there.
I get on extremely well with them all, so have a laugh and a joke with them. None of us take anything too seriously, so I never take my health too seriously. So
the nurses are at the front line of level of care, really. I mean, they're the ones that are keeping you alive a lot of the time, and well, we couldn't live our life without them, to be honest.
They gave me my mum back, and that to me is the world. And I'm going to cry. To see her so vulnerable was terrifying for me, and they were just so supportive, and like some of them were doing back-to-back shifts because they had no staff, and they were tired, but they never ever let that alter the way they cared.
Oh, my midwife was lovely. She was amazing. I just loved it. The moment I saw her, because I was quite nervous, but the moment I saw her, I was just like, oh, it's going to be amazing.
You know, your fears and your concerns were validated. There was nothing that was off limits to talk about, and the support was always there. There was follow-up phone calls and follow-up meetings after the group ended. It's just, even though it was a horrible time in my life, it was actually one of the most wonderful things that I've been a part of, if that makes sense.
When you get to my age, you get a little bit frightened of something, something different's happening to you. And I really felt that I was being well cared for.
I personally don't think there's enough appreciation shown to nurses. Yeah, I mean, it's astonishing to me sometimes just how much hard work they actually do.
They managed to just give me some perspective and reassure me that, yeah, you're going through some pretty crappy times, but it will get better, you will get better. And for a very long time, even afterwards, oh my gosh, yeah, I couldn't see it, didn't believe it.
This was like a home away from home while she was in there, and the treatment and the nurses, they're worth their weight in gold. They deserve the biggest pat in the back.
One thing, and it might sound a bit strange, is that I would say thank you for making me a better nurse. Their empathy and their ability to listen and support really actually quite fundamentally changed me as a nurse. They are therefore indirectly responsible for the improved care of so many other people in the community that they haven't met because of that. And that's really powerful.
Oh gosh, the words thank you just don't seem to be enough. They actually don't. I don't think there actually is something that you could say that covers it all. I mean, you know, I often say to people that without Naomi I wouldn't be here, but you know, without the care that I've had over the years, that's certainly, you know, a larger part of it. I would not be here. You know, before Naomi, my mental health was not great, and I have spent some extended periods in hospital because of that. And the nurses that I had there have always been absolutely amazing.
Another nurse, we used to have really awful dressing changes every day, an hour and a half they used to take, and we had to do that for 12 months, and she taught me how to do it so that he could get out of hospital. So, you know, it's those sorts of experiences for us that have made a difference, and we truly are grateful.
Well, I'd love to shake their hands, hug them, and tell them what a wonderful job they've done. They're so dedicated. I mean, with all the business going around with the building and the hospital and everything, everyone is so dedicated to their job, and they're so wonderful. And I'd like to thank them very, very much.
Oh, yeah, thank you, I suppose, yeah, pure and simple, yeah, for everything they do for me, so.
Thanks for the great care.
Oh, she's amazing, and thank you so much for everything you did.
I love you so much. I said I don't ever want to see you again. In the best possible way.